If you like this video, please click on the like button. Comment with the names of the movies you would like us to cover next. Click the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get notified of our latest creations. We cover 100 movies from around the world every day. To advertise with our channel, reach out to us. Our contact information is on our channel page. Now, let's move to the plot of this movie.
Superstitious New York gambler Joe Baldwin, Onslow Stevens, owner of the thoroughbred racing horse Sarcasm, believes that luck can be bought with charitable deeds. Before the Kentucky Derby, to buy luck, he finances an expensive trip to Europe for gold digger Jean Jason, his good luck charm, not knowing she is taking her lover with her. Gigolo and sometime artist Paul Vinton Hayworth. He also gives his old friend Frank Brent cash to save his cab business and visits an orphanage in Louisville with his sister, where he meets Betty Mackay, Helen Mack, a pretty teacher who scoffs at his philosophy. Single quote. She scolds him for wishing for rain on the day of the Derby to aid his horse, who runs best on a muddy track, because the orphans plan an outdoor party. Although it rains as wished, Sarcasm loses the Derby, and Joe is convinced that it was because the orphans were pulling against him. In an attempt to repair the damage before the preakness, Joe throws the orphans a lavish party, hiring clowns and other entertainment. To Betty's surprise, Joe is as excited as the children, and they fall in love. Quote, after Sarcasm wins the preakness, Joe returns to New York, where Jean is back from Europe. Joe tells her that he will not be seeing her anymore because he is going to marry Betty, and she cajoles $50,000 from him as a final, luck insurance payment, before Joe shows up with the check. However, Paul arrives at Jean's apartment. They argue when he sees that she plans to run out on him with the money. Jean threatens him with a gun, and during a scuffle, kills her. Single quote. Joe arrives at Jean's building, where Paul is waiting outside. He lights the unsuspecting Joe's cigarette and gives him the matchbook. Then telephones the police and, posing as Joe, confesses that he just murdered Jean. Joe is tried for Jean's murder and convicted on circumstantial evidence, but escapes before his final lockup, using Frank's cab to get around, and with the help of Betty to question the many possible suspects. Joe tracks down Paul using the passenger lists of Jean's voyage. Single quote. Paul discovers the ploy and has Joe apprehended. Joe convinces the police to question Paul by matching partial fingerprints from the crime scene to those left by Paul at the police station. Paul is implicated in the murder and confesses. Sure now that luck cannot be bought, Joe embraces Betty. Single quote.